right. Take one.
All right. I guess you go ahead and give it a shot.
No, you go. You go.
Well,
All right. How about okay? All right.
sure.
I got it. So everything DC.
Well, first and foremost, welcome to the segment. Mojo and JoJo,
MJ for short, and
J2. We thought really it's not a podcast, so we put the description podcast, not necessarily a podcast.
it was a T. P-O-T.
Right, POT, meaning us having different conversations, different topics, different segments in the pod. I think we thought, which was interesting. But anyways, the first segment we thought, everything DC.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess we'll have multiple other occasions where we talk about things considering everything DC.
right. That's gonna be down the road. But first things first, we definitely we thought this would have been a good first gate, first foot in the door, first right out the gate. We thought it was a good idea, to do everything DC because, for one, it would have been giving a shout out to DC for one. And what was it originally? It was we thought it was the general subject was what DMV and everything DC would have been down the road, but we wanted to. That was the original. That was the original subject of this segment. This segment of itself, which was DMV. We would talk about, the generality of DMV, everything DMV, but not necessarily everything DMV, but which probably would have been, something that would have been down the road. But everything DC was, we thought would have been a good start because, for one, again, it would have been giving out a shout out to DC for sure. Shout out to DC,
One of the most important cities.
one of the most important cities in the world, definitely. You definitely think about all the most important cities in the world. What do you think of? You think of, Paris, Moscow, and Berlin, and Hong Kong, all the other ones, but you gotta include DC on there. DC is it has to be included on there, not just necessarily for policy purposes, but
How familiar are you with Seoul?
soul music,
Seoul, Korea,
soul career.
the city.
Not quite.
Yeah.
I don't think of.
Maybe it's not that important. Like the one you mentioned.
No. That's it's probably it's part of Korea. Korea is definitely one of the most important places in the world. I mean, we got leaders like Kim Jong Un and
North, that's north.
North Korea. My bad. Well, yeah, North Korea. There's South Korea as well. What's that prime minister's name? That's down there. Yeah.
I would look it up, but we're using my phone to record.
But jumping back to the subject, right. We really wanted to do everything DC first because, again, giving DC a shout out. Um, um, what we thought? What's your take on that? What we thought? You know, when we say everything DC, we pretty much um, not necessarily just from a positive perspective, creating a good vibe, you know, creating a good sense, but also, you know, from a good shout out perspective, you know what I mean? DC has so much going for it, you know what I mean? There's so much. Like you were saying earlier, you know, one of the most important cities in the world. You know what I mean? And there's so much here that people don't. Well, that maybe a lot of people might not take into consideration. You know, that's here alone. There's, you know, not just the monuments. Um, we got the National Smithsonian.
The Jefferson Building.
The Jefferson Building.
Mind blowing.
We have everything here that you could possibly think of as far as culture, politics, history. So much that you can think of, you know. And I thought when we were thinking about this, about the Everything DC segment, I was really excited about it because not just from a shout out perspective, because I know how much is here. There's so much to grasp, you know.
Yeah, maybe through the videos we could like elaborate on like all that DC has to offer.
Yeah,
And like, you know, a lot of things about DC that like people may like overlook, you know.
people might not take into consideration
Yeah,
and sit down and think about it at times because there is literally so much here that not just that you can do, but excuse me, but there's so much that you can take in, family wise. You know, you have not to jump out of conversation, but going back to the DMV segment. I mean, you got Maryland.
You
Even
familiar
though,
with Maryland and Virginia?
yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I got family members in
Okay. Fairfax?
Fairfax,
Arlington?
Arlington. I'm from Alexandria, though.
Richmond, Arlington, Fairfax.
Those are Fredericksburg, Manassas. Those are key cities. And when you think about Maryland, you got Baltimore, you got Landover, you got
PG County,
Howard
County.
you got so much. I mean, all these three cities. Again, not to jump out of conversation about DMV and everything DC, but if you look at when you attach DC into that, DC kind of gives such a retrospect of those three, you know, with DC included, with those Washington cities.
Would you say DC is the glue of the DMV?
The glue, I would say it gives a really good description of yeah, I would say so. I would say it gives a really good description of DMV. When you look at all of those other states, other cities,
What distinguishes? Well, maybe I'll save that for another time. But I'm gonna ask it, and then maybe we'll save it for the other time.
right?
So like DC, right?
Right.
The home of politics, the home of the White House.
The home of history,
Yeah.
the home of culture of DMV.
It's like
Well,
it's like the major city
right.
of the entire nation of United States of America.
Right, right.
So but then
You got the Washington Monument,
But
which
then
is just sitting up there.
we don't name all the states like A through Z, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But we specifically say DMV and we highlight with DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So maybe we can expound on that in a future time, like
Yeah,
why Maryland
definitely,
and
of course.
Virginia with DC, you know what I mean?
Definitely, of course. That's something that we definitely want to do down the road. You
Yeah.
know,
But today's segment is
everything DC. Yeah. We thought from a kick out perspective, from a starting perspective, we thought it was a good idea. Because we thought it would give a good sense of shout out for one, and putting things into good perspective, because not just what DC can offer, but the people in there as well. The folks in there, and the lifestyle, the culture, the vibe. People come here. A lot of people come here specifically for that purpose. A lot of people do that.
A lot of people come to DC for the vibe,
Yeah,
the culture, the people,
the perspective.
and the perspective.
It's
So, like, what do you mean by perspective? Like sightseeing? No.
sightseeing. Yeah, sightseeing. There's that.
Perspective, like like logically.
Yeah. I would say so.
Like what perspective? Like people in DC considering their vibe, culture, and the people you meet.
People would want people from other states
Come to DC.
come to DC just to experience.
Right. And
What's,
then
what the conversation is
and
about.
then-
All about every time DC this, DC that, DC
Oh.
has this, DC has that. Not just from tourists. Let's say tourist perspective. A lot of tourists come here. There are a lot of when you go down to Capitol Hill, you see buses and buses and buses of tourists.
It's funny, it's funny, like Maryland, College Park area.
Right,
It's not like DC,
right.
like where it's like.
But the
look-
vibe there is
So, no, it's what I'm trying to say is like when you go sightseeing, there's a lot of pictures you can take and stuff, right?
there's so much you can take in. You
But
go down
then,
to College Park.
I was working at Shoppers one time in the College Park area, and you could see like there were tourists like trying to take pictures in the location I was in. It was so funny because like
I'm telling you, man.
it was not a tourist attraction place. I was like, you're not gonna
It
have
is-
anything to
It
take
has,
pictures of.
and all of that, it can like be attached to each other. You know what I mean? That's the cool thing about that. You can attach College Park. All of that can be into one perspective of what we're trying to actually explain, I think. Again, this would probably be something that we do down the road
So,
of DMV.
not like a single perspective, but to have like an ever expanding,
Yeah, an
like
expanding perspective.
kind of like our podcast,
Right.
Not a podcast,
Right.
POP,
Not necessarily a podcast, but
Like-
podcast.
like DC.
Podcast, yes.
DC is kind of like a pot, where like a pot of ever-growing perspective.
There is that. That's the cool thing. And when you mention College Park, that also gives a clear, ideal description of, I think what we're trying to interpret. Everything
Park,
DC.
College Park, Temple Hill,
Mm.
Oxon Hill, Clinton, the general PG County area, Cherry Hill, Belcher
You look
Hill.
at Montgomery County, for an instance, it stretches so far. It is one of the biggest counties, that I think is overlooked. When I was growing up as a kid, going to school, when I was going to middle school in Maryland,
Overlooked?
I think Montgomery County is probably one of the biggest counties that's overlooked. It stretches so far.
Yeah, because
And-
like when people like think about Maryland, it's usually PG County, Howard County, and Baltimore, right? Yeah, but then like
It
Montgomery
stretches.
County is like no one really likes it.
Not just that. People just don't take time to sit down and consider. Um, well,
You know.
The retrospect of Montgomery County. Montgomery County carries
Lake Forest Mall.
multiple cities, multiple counties within 3 different states.
Really, Montgomery County?
It is a huge.
Oh, really?
It is huge, and
So like when I say I'm from Montgomery County, well, sorta. Like,
well, yeah.
it
When you say that,
encompasses multiple states, right?
it can encompass that, but it's from one state alone, which is Maryland. But it can stretch all the way to almost close to DC. It is
Oh, there it is still encompassed in
right.
one state,
Right.
but it can stretch almost all the way to DC.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And other states.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is we thought is one of the beauty of this segment is the different um, intellect that we can put into, the conversation and talk about stuff like that. Again, this is probably something that we're going to extend down the road, talking about DMV. It is just everything is attached together, and it is all in a cultural sense. You know what I mean? And when you speak of something like this, the everything DC, it's almost very hard not to mention those other different states, Maryland and Virginia, and you almost want to bring the conversation of DMV into it, but we thought it's just first right out the gate of everything DC, which I think we think it's pretty obvious. When you think of DC, it just gives a clear description of DMV in general. You know what I mean? It takes every little thing from all the 3 states with it included. You take a look at Virginia for an instance. You have Fredericksburg. You have Manassas. You have Gettysburg. You have Richmond. You have Alexandria. You have Arlington. Which is where the president usually goes, to celebrate Memorial Day. And you think of that alone.
What is the correlation of Memorial Day in Arlington, Virginia?
What is the correlation of it? Well, it's Memorial Day, and it's celebrating Veterans Day.
Okay. So there's like a veteran graveyard.
Yeah. There's that.
Oh, Memorial Day in memory. Okay.
Memory of the
fallen troops.
fallen troops in the military.
Oh, there's like a graveyard in Arlington.
Yes,
Okay.
there is.
Is it the one with the wall with the names on it? Oh, okay.
There's the Arlington Cemetery. You think of all of that, and which DC can interpret, because that's where he has to go. He doesn't have to go, he doesn't go somewhere remote in DC, outside of DC, or somewhere remotely in the outskirts of DC.
It's like they wanted to move the Washington Commanders Stadium to Virginia, right?
No, I think Maryland,
Maryland.
somewhere. Well, they want to move it back here to DC.
Oh.
I believe it's down there. It's somewhere down in Maryland. I think it's in Landover.
Oh, so they moved it.
Yeah, it's in Landover, Maryland. But
Landover. Oh, really?
I believe so.
Landover?
I think it's in Landover,
Oh,
Maryland.
yeah, I heard that actually.
Yeah, it's
Damn.
I believe it's in Landover, Maryland, and they're thinking about moving it back here to DC, the stadium. They want to move it here.
The Maryland Commanders. I'm kidding.
Well, no, it doesn't sound right, of course. A lot of people are actually frustrated at that. They are. They really want the team. They think the team should be here in DC. The commuting aspect of it is just, for a lot of people, it's mind-boggling because, for one, they got to travel all the way down to Maryland, which can be a little bit far at times, and you got to deal with traffic. And they just feel like it being here, which was something that I thought, when I first heard of it, I thought it was an amazing idea. And not just that, the stadium looks really good. It looks really, really fancy. So, but anyways, the conversation of everything DC is something that we really wanted to kick off. Again, shout out to DC. There's so much.
Are you a fan of?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of combination fried rice?
Yeah, of course.
So would you say DC is like a combination fried rice?
Should I be laughing at that? That is out of line. That is out of line. Perspection, but not a bad perspection to put. A combination fried rice, DC. Well, yeah, that just.
Maybe combination is fried rice is inspired by DC.
It can be inspired by DC. DC has some of the best places to eat at. You can find some really good cuisines in DC. Not just from a cultural sense, which probably put the icing on the cake of catering in DC. But DC, it offers that in such a cultural manner that you wouldn't say it's the idea of bringing people together, but it's the idea of creating a good vibe, I would think. Don't you think?
So this making a distinction between bringing people together, but so it's more of like vibe instead of connection. But
well, there's the connection part. There is that. But the vibe itself is
less personal.
Well, I would say the vibe is very strong. It creates a very, very strong vibe of,
so what do you mean by vibe? Explain
good
it.
times
Good
and
party atmosphere.
Party atmosphere.
Like being like the vibe
Yeah.
Like being in a club, sort
Well,
of.
yeah. Even that, there's
Vibes, yeah.
even that DC offers.
So you say it's more about vibe than it is.
Well, no, I wouldn't say necessarily. You would say if you'd have to distinguish itself, if you'd have to distinguish that,
Like the
um,
like
because of the goodness that it creates. The goodness,
ah,
it's the goodness itself of it.
yeah,
You would
like cultural impact,
right,
like
right,
influence,
right.
and things like that, and like like being like a trendsetter or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's a sense of trendiness that goes into it. There is.
So focused on being like the vibe, like the vibe, like
You
focused
know,
on
the
the
good,
vibe.
the good sense of environment, the good sense of
That as opposed to what?
well, not as opposed to anything else, but which the one thing that it creates, the one thing that you can definitely take away from it is the cultural sense. The cultural sense of catering and local cuisines and all of that. There's the strong sense of culturalness into that. There is that. You can go anywhere in DC and find good food in any different international perspective, and not necessarily you wouldn't necessarily have to think of the national aspect of it, but just from the catering perspective, you know, it has it has the luxury of just simple catering and good food, you know, and you would think you would definitely include the cultural sense into that. You definitely would. Um, but the one thing that I think you can definitely want to take from it is the sense of good vibe that it creates. Because not only does it bring people together, but it creates a good atmosphere and, just a good old time. You know
Right.
what I mean?
It's kind of like it's kind of like barbecue, right?
Right,
And like the sauce you put on the barbecue.
right.
It's like like anyone could be fixated on how well the meat comes out.
Right, right.
But
Barbecue, you definitely
right. But then it's like
you
maybe
wanna make a good barbecue,
like
fresh barbecue.
focusing on the vibes, maybe ensuring that like the sauce comes out real good.
Right,
You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
It's like like it's the sauce that makes you go back to barbecue.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like
I mean, even though you want, it's the combination of that,
like
the old saying.
you can't like when you think about barbecue, you can't really imagine meat without sauce.
You can,
Yeah.
you definitely can.
And uh, that's what like DC vibe was the whole vibe thing. That's what it does culturally, influencing people, being like a trendsetter and everything.
It does,
So
it does influence that.
gives DC distinction? Because like when you like kind of like look into pop culture and everything, it's a lot of New York, it's a lot of LA,
Hmm. There's a difference.
yeah, and so it's a lot of
Chicago,
Chicago.
there's the South Side, well, the South.
So what does DC present?
DC,
Or we said like DC is kind of like a combination, right?
right,
So when people come to DC, right, for
Mhm.
perspective, right?
right,
I guess like less about like what is televised, right?
mm,
It's more like rumors that spread, and then people are like, oh, I want to find out for myself,
right,
something like that.
Right.
That's what DC is sort of. But then I guess also like
there's that sense.
I guess like on television, it's more politics than it is pop culture when it comes to DC. And when it comes to pop culture, like you have to come to DC to witness
To
it.
witness it
And then
itself.
when you come to DC to witness it, you realize it's like a combination of a lot of
Everything.
things.
Yeah. Everything. And we really wanted to push this out of the gate because again, from a shout out perspective, but we thought it was a good first sense. As you can see, he had the Smithsonian. Is that it? Yeah. We got the Smithsonian June 10th ad going on, but
June 10th?
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, yeah.
Yeah.
June 19, 1865.
65. That is also a history that they'll probably talk about later on down the road. A good history to know, a very good history. But we thought this would have been a good start. First start right at the gate. We probably what? Next segment is probably going to be something totally random, out of conversation. That's one of the beauty of
DC now. Next segment will be Maryland. Next segment will be Virginia. And then after the 1, 2, 3, we'll do Minnesota. No one's been to Minnesota.
well, sure, we could probably go down that road, but
We'll make a we'll write a script from what we read about Minnesota on Wikipedia, and then we'll just read the Wikipedia out loud.
right.
But then like, we might have to use.
Well,
I'm kidding.
but what he was probably going to say was we so random about things. The next segment is probably going to be something totally out of random.
And it's not gonna just be us.
It's not probably going to be just us. We're probably going to have a guest by and.
Oh.
That would be something really cool to have too. Having guests over and
How ecstatic do you think people might be to be on video and being interviewed? And I imagine some people would be ecstatic. Maybe some people want to be private,
of course.
But I imagine
Yeah, of course. But I think that's a really good question because I think a really good answer to that is people's. I think it's really cool to have people's opinions, people's thoughts on things.
right now we're in Washington D.C., Southeast Washington D.C. So a lot of people we interview may be local to Southeast.
Yeah. Where we at right now on the southeast side, we have a lot of people from the southeast side, and it would be really cool to have somebody from the southeast side to interview, to talk about.
Maybe we can start traveling. And
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
And then ask random people I'll hold out my phone and be like, would you like to get interviewed?
Yeah, of course.
And depending on how ecstatic they are.
Yeah.
It's
not just, I don't think it's just the idea of being on camera. I think it's the idea of having your opinion, having your thought on something, your input on something.
I need to get a little device right. Get a mic. Yeah. Put a mic right here, mic right here.
Right.
Clip up mic.
Microphone on the shirt.
Yeah. We might interview people.
Yeah.
Maybe not the more private people, but ones that are ecstatic about
Yeah.
being on being on YouTube,
Yeah.
being on video,
Yeah.
and like people like
People actually.
learning about the culture you're from, your upbringing,
What it's like to live in your city.
like share what you experienced.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe not too personal things, but like something you
Right.
are ecstatic to share about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That would have been something really nice to have.
Like,
first,
what was your
but-
first experience? What was it like going to the movies for the first time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who'd you go with? Did you go with friends? Was it during like elementary school, and then like your teacher took the whole class there, and then
Right.
what was your first time like eating popcorn and like
Right.
and like you know like
What was the vibe like? How was the atmosphere? You know, what did you like about it?
what was it like drinking soda without your parents' permission?
Without your parents' permission, at the age of 12.
Whoa! We're living it up.
What was it? Coca-Cola for the first time or Fanta?
Whoa! I think it was Sprite.
It was Sprite, right? But what do you think? You think this would have been a good? This was a good segment.
Yeah.
The first segment, everything DC.
I really enjoyed making this video.
I thought so too.
Yeah. I think concerning everything DC, concerning DMV,
By the way, which is
Yeah.
off script.
all off script,
Right.
and I feel like I'm working with like the perfect person,
Oh no.
and like
Oh.
it's like,
Likewise, that goes backwards, man.
I like how you like illustrate things with your words and stuff.
Oh.
I feel like yeah.
Well, from your caliber, you know a lot as well.
Like if this was like a Subway sandwich, maybe you're like the bread and the meat, and I'm like
Here it goes.
I'm like the lettuce, tomatoes, olives, onions.
You're the lettuce and the tomato.
and then like the condiments is like what the impact DC had on us.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? This sort of thing.
What would you say the mayo is? It gets pretty hot. It gets pretty hot.
That's
It gets pretty hot in here.
Northwest. Mayo is northwest.
It's been.
northeast.
I think a couple days ago we had like our first. Supposedly we're supposed to have like our first over 100 degrees.
Oh man.
I think it's been a hot summer so far, and we haven't even grazed
I
the top
stepped
yet.
outside just wanting to step back in.
Yeah. We got all of July to go. We got August. We got September.
So it starts getting cool at the end of August, right?
No, at the end of September. By the end of
Really?
September, October. October is going to be. There are going to be some warm
Really?
moments.
That's global warming right there.
Global warming is working. It's effective.
No more. Sooner or later, we're not gonna have winter anymore.
It is amazing to say, but global warming is working, and it's something that definitely has to be considered as far as world population goes.
You know what's funny? It's probably the AC, like depleting the ozone, and us having AC is making it hotter for us.
Well,
Like if
it
that's
does. It does. If you think of it, it does. It does.
so. If we took out AC,
Not necessarily a hindering sense, but it does.
took out AC entirely, and then start messing up our ozone,
Right.
maybe like consistently.
But what are we gonna have for AC then? We can't have fans all over the place.
We'll have igloos.
Igloos.
Or we'll have compartments where you can like have AC temperature rooms for like a quick second, or we'll have like fountains that
You know, the first ACs were just, what was it like? I think they were like, they had to like make like, they were like almost the design of refrigerators, old refrigerators. Put ice cubes and into, you know,
we have to go back to
container compartments.
we have to go back to prehistoric, like before AC, before refrigerators. We have to be so codependent that we'll like hunt food but then like we'll probably hunt too much and then we'll run out of food. um,
But you had any input? You would say it's a good first segment.
yeah, I think so.
I thought so too.
Are we gonna like delve into like instead of talking about what
It's
we're
gonna
do,
be
like
just
do you want to
out of random.
you want to prolong the video and then like actually start talking about different things about DC or
it doesn't necessarily. We're not. It's not necessarily. Again,
okay.
The description of the show. It's
41 minutes.
MJ and J2 2.0
Yeah, MJ and J2.
podcast, not necessarily a podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Not
The
necessarily.
part is where it's just to create a sense of just different subjects, different conversations,
Yeah,
different topics, different
Podcast.
ideas. Right.
Podcast is, but what distinguishes us from a podcast?
Right. It's we're
like a
putting it
more
from segments perspective.
POT.
Right.
Yeah.
From different segments perspective.
Are we ever gonna talk about Minnesota?
Maybe.
Is who's from Minnesota? Like pop culture. Who's from Minnesota?
Minnesota. Who is from Minnesota? Damn it. I think I know this question. Who is from Minnesota?
You know what's her name? Megan Stallion. I'm from Memphis.
I thought she was from Memphis.
Yeah,
Is
so
she?
yeah, it's not Minnesota. So, but I'm thinking Minnesota. But Minnesota is more country, right? So
Oh.
like country music.
Not quite.
Oh.
Minnesota is more. I would say.
Minnesota on the map. Where's Minnesota?
It's on the top.
Yeah.
It sits on the top on the north side.
How do you
Just a
spell
little
it?
bit.
How do you spell it?
I think it's
I'm
spelled just
thinking
as it
Montana.
sounds.
I'm thinking Montana.
Montana's up there as well.
Minnesota, Illinois, right? Illinois is in Minnesota.
No, Illinois is in Chicago.
No, Chicago is in Illinois.
Is it? Oh, well, never mind.
So Michigan.
Minnesota, I think it's spelled just as it sounds, but I think Minnesota is.
Okay.
I think Minnesota is like more mountain range.
And like South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana is all woods. It's all woods.
I think so. Yeah.
It's
I
like
believe so.
it looks like Canada.
With the pine trees and all that. But yeah.
You can see the Canadian border.
Right on Montana.
North Dakota and Montana.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh man. But I think we probably hit it out the park. The next segment I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a different.
It's so fun, man.
Yeah.
And
It
I
is.
hope you viewers
Man.
are having fun with us.
Yeah, man. this is just, you know, it's for one, it's off script, and it's just, we thought it's for one, the first segment, which is everything DC, just explains, you know, what the segment is about. Having different conversations, different topics. That's the beauty of it. We just get to express our minds, you know, about things like culture, you know.
I just thought about something funny. Like,
Oh,
every time we make a video, let's have segments where we're looking out this window. And like, you know, just
which is looking at City Hill, by the
and
way.
while we're talking,
City Hill Hospital.
just looking out the window.
Just having a good glance at it, huh?
I think that'll be pretty fun.
But definitely a good shout out. You know,
More,
everything good.
we'll talk more DC content.
And we would love to have you know, viewers, perspectives, thoughts.
People from Montana, people from Minnesota,
People from South Dakota.
people from Memphis. We might have the privilege of interviewing Megan Stallion.
The Megan Thee Stallion.
The D.
It will be a privilege,
Yeah.
of course.
Please.
I thought for the longest, I thought she was one of the most beautiful women in the world. No, seriously. No joke. No joke aside. I thought I think she's a very beautiful woman, inside out. She has an amazing personality.
If you stumble upon this video, please
That would
consider.
be, you know, a dream come true, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You would say?
A dream come true.
Yeah. That would be very nice to have D Stallion.
You know my name, Philip, means lover of horses.
Love of horses, huh?
Yeah, and I can't help but love her station. Megan Stallion. No, wait, is that her real name?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
The Stallion, I think. I think it's the Stallion. It's almost spelled D Stallion, but it's it almost is spelled as a sound. But she has a pretty cool name. Next segment is definitely going to be awesome. I think it's going to be something totally out of random, different topic. I can't wait. We can't wait. I know you can't wait.
Or should we make all our videos uncut? I think that would be a nice little touch to like art, you know, like, because like it presents a measure of authenticity.
Sure. Yeah.
But there will be no video out there that's as authentic as ours.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
When it comes to authenticity,
Yeah.
we are the prime rib.
The prime rib.
You know, we are the filet mignon. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, sir, it don't. No, sir, it don't.
We are the filet mignon with the unnecessary gold glitter.
And it would be something very original to implement.
We are the New York strip,
New York prime rib,
the ribeye.
the ribeye of uncut.
Now, how
But,
do you like your meat? Medium rare? Medium rare? Well, a little well? A little well?
No. I think, well, medium rare for me, I like switching it up at times. I like my ribs well done at times, and just to enjoy a sense of flavor and taste. You know, putting a nice juice on the steak, especially when it's
Lemon.
when it's medium rare, you get to taste, And well done, you get to ingest something like an A1 sauce, you know, on it.
I don't want to mess up my steak with A1 sauce.
Why not?
I mean, like, if it's a nice steak, I don't want A1 sauce on it. But like,
Are you serious?
maybe I'll dabble some of it, but not all of it. You know, I would drench it.
You gotta have A1 sauce on it, man. You got to. That's probably one of the.
I haven't had steak in a while.
You haven't had steak in a while, huh?
Yeah.
You starting to crave steak, huh?
No, I'm not. It's just making mouth feeling water.
You sure? You sure, Phil?
I'm not crazy.
Well, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil your little moment.
So, how are we gonna end our videos? We have to end it in a catchy way, like with like a catchphrase sort of thing. Alright, thank you for spending time
Yeah,
with
definitely,
us.
definitely.
I am MJ and he is.
J2, definitely appreciate y'all for coming down to the, for first time, we definitely appreciate it. But anyways,
And until the next video, let's keep vibing.
to the next time 2.0.